Hi guys, I thought I'd do something a little different. I haven't recorded anything in a while. We actually found a church here locally, so it works out kind of good. But back to the Bible. I think that's going to be the title of the series. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do just yet. I printed off a list of topics and stuff, and I went through a few of them to see what kind of stuck out. And given the last year we've been in our house here, I think apostasy really does stand out. So I think we'll start there. Apostasy, I can't even say apostasy is pretty much drifting away, if you will, just drifting away from God. But if you want to turn to Hebrews 2, we can get started. Okay, Hebrews 2, 1 through 3. Therefore we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip. For if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense of reward, how shall we escape if we neglect so great salvation, which at the first began to be spoken by the Lord, and was confirmed unto us by them that heard him? So you guys can go ahead and pause the video if you want and read that up, see what you think. It's basically, for me, saying listen to your preacher, your teacher, Sunday school teacher especially, and the preacher of your church. Listen to what they're telling you. Really listen, let it sink in. First off, that doesn't mean everything someone tells you about the Bible is real. First thing I'm going to tell you is get out your Bible and follow along. Make up your own mind of what it says. But it's saying what God has said, don't let it slip away from your heart. Hold steadfast to that. And this also goes along with salvation in Hebrews 2, 3. How shall we escape if we neglect so great salvation? And first off, I'm not a theologian, not a scholar. I don't read the Bible as much as I should, just like anyone else. I have the same amount of sin. But it's basically saying exactly what it says. How can you escape the second death if you neglect salvation? The gist of it, that's what it's saying. Keep what you read throughout the Bible close to your heart. Read it every day. Study it. If you can only get a passage a day in, perfectly fine. There's actually studies online that show you how to do that. And it will have you kind of skip around the Bible, but it does it in order. It's pretty neat lessons out there. We're going to move on to Hebrews 3, 12 through 14. Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief, and departing from the living God. But exhort one another daily, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. For we made partakers of Christ if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast until the end. What this is saying, we'll skip to 14. If we hold in the beginning our confidence steadfast until the end. What it's saying, think of becoming a brand new believer. That excitement, that joy, the sadness knowing that you've sinned all that time. He wants you to hold on to that. Keep it throughout your journey with Christ. This is warning about having a hardened heart. Don't let your heart become hardened by sin. Don't be deceitful. And 13 is trying to tell you to lift one another up. And that could be many things, from one of your neighbors is just down, needs someone to talk to. Open an ear. Listen to the problems. Point them to the right place in the Bible to read that. There's several different ways to lift one another up. Hebrews 4:1. Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. And then verse 11. Let us labor therefore to enter into the rest, to that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. This is again warning. God gave us a promise of salvation, through Christ. You should really fear not being saved. You do not want to go to the great rest, the grave. You come short, that rest is not going to be pleasant. I can assure you that. Hold steadfast to your beliefs. Hebrews 10:23. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. And in parentheses, mine has, for he is faithful that promised. Speaking of Christ. What it's saying is Christ promised salvation. All you have to do is simply ask. That's the start. There's more to it. I won't lie. Pick up the Bible, read it. I'd say the first step is if it's really weighing on your heart, what's past this life, you really need to speak to someone. Find a preacher, someone who attends a congregation. Speak to them. Just tell them what's on your heart. I'm not going to tell you to pick Baptist over Methodist over Catholic. The choice is all yours. Read the Bible and get saved. That's basically my point. But the topic is apostasy. I'll never say that right. And it's pretty much for the unbeliever who's falling away. Salvation is a whole nother discussion, but this does tie into it somewhat. Let's move on to Hebrews 13:9. Be not carried about with divers and strange doctrines, for it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace, not with meats, which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. Okay, I've heard our preacher talk about the divers and the strange doctrines. I cannot remember for the life of me what the divers means. Let your heart be filled. You know, it's one thing when you study the Bible, you plan out something, you actually have an outline and you're recording. You read it, you know what it means in your own mind. Trying to get it out's another thing. So let me see if I can get it out. Don't worry yourself with the sin of that day. Worrying in itself could become sin. Keep your heart set on the grace of God. That's going to be the easiest thing. There's a lot more to it than that. We're not going to delve into what divers and strange doctrines are. We're not going to discuss not with meats, which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. I'm not going to discuss that. Really the key sentence here is, for it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace. Grace is the key. Don't worry about what others are doing. Don't worry about what others are eating. Let God lead you. Let God take that step, and the next step, and the next step. But that's it. There's a lot more. I'm just going to do some short, probably somewhere between 5-7 minute videos. Keep them nice and short. I may or may not expand on them later. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But this is apostasy. See, I'm never going to say it right. No matter how hard I try, I'll never get it. Apostasy, drifting away. This has been Hebrews chapter 2, verses 1 and 3. Chapter 3, verses 12 through 14. Hebrews chapter 4, verses 1 and 11. Chapter 10, verse 23. Chapter 13, verse 9. And this is just only half of it for apostasy, drifting away. So just keep in mind, if you feel like you're falling away from God, just remember, you may feel that way, but I guarantee you God's sitting right next to you. Christ is there. They're all there. They're just waiting for you to reach your arms out. They're just waiting for you to just simply talk with Him. They're just waiting. Fear not drifting away. And I'm going to leave it on that note. Have a good day, morning, evening, whatever time it is. And I'll catch you in the next one.